What's up, everyone? You're here with Goran from Pickdawgz, and thank you for joining me here for your free picks for the MLS on Saturday, March 23rd. Well, guys, as we all know, we are in the international break, and that has made our week quite slow. We had a video with free picks for Thursday, and we are having this one for Saturday in the MLS. That's pretty much the only of the top leagues that is not on the break. And there are a bunch of teams who are missing some players who went to play for their national teams. So we have to tread carefully, guys. But we have 13 games on the schedule. That means 13 free picks for you. Additionally, I might be posting a parlay of the day or something like that in the comment section. I haven't prepared anything for the video simply because I'm kind of waiting on some information, still waiting on some prices and stuff like that. So if I decide to go with anything, I will be posting it in the comment section. For more free picks, of course, go up to the Pickdawgz YouTube channel and check it out, guys. Make sure you subscribe, hit that like button, and feel free to leave a comment on any of these videos. For my best bets, click the link in the description. That will get you up to my page where you can sign up, get a daily pass, 3-day pass, 7-day pass, or even a month-long pass if that's something you want to do. And as usual, feel free to check out those betting tools we have for soccer on sportchatplays.com. You can create a nice parlay with goal scorers and stuff like that. Check out the profitable teams, profitable players. And of course, there is that. Sportsbook offers that we have on pickdawgz.com as well. On the drop down menu on your left hand side, almost to the bottom, there's a tab called Sportsbooks. You open it up, select your state, and then you will see the offers that you might get if you sign up through the Pickdawgz website. So check it out, guys, and see if you like anything. Like I said, we have 13 games on the schedule, so let's get this show on the road. The first one is between New England and Chicago. Two teams in a fairly sloppy form. Chicago did get a win against Montreal with a massive turnover. They were losing, I believe, 3-0 in that game, and then ended up scoring like 3 goals in the last 10 minutes of a game, but Montreal got a red card, even a couple of red cards, if I'm not mistaken. And Chicago got 4 goals, and they were able to get a win out of that one. As far as New England goes, they lost to Cincinnati last week 2-1 at home, and this is actually their third game in a row that they were unable to beat their opponents. And on top of that, they do have a few injured players right now, a couple of suspensions as well. I believe they have one absent player who went to play for the national team, while Chicago on the other side will be also missing a few players who went to play for the national team, and I think that Shaqiri is one of those players as well, which is definitely gonna be a huge blow for this team. With both teams being in a bit of a sloppy form, still not set defensively, I decided to go with the over 2.5 in this one, and that is at minus 143. For our next matchup, guys, we have New York Red Bulls hosting Inter Miami, and you know what? I'm a bit surprised to see New York Red Bulls as the favorites, even though they are playing at home. They are missing 7 players who went to play in the international duty. Uh, Inter Miami is also missing a bunch of players. I see that Messi is still listed as questionable here, and there's like 6 or 7 players as well who went to play for the national teams. But in this game, I decided to go with a player prop, and that is Luis Suarez to get 2+ shots on target for Inter Miami at minus 118. With Messi probably being on the bench, even if that, Luis Suarez will be the main target guy, and he will be the main player for Inter Miami in this game, and that means shots on target for him. So I'm gonna go with Luis Suarez, 2+ shots on target at minus 118. Charlotte is hosting Columbus in the next matchup, and I think this one could be very interesting. Columbus is very solid so far this season, still undefeated, 7 scored goals and only 2 conceded goals so far this season. While Charlotte on the other side has been struggling quite a lot, they are actually on a 2-game losing streak right now. Uh, Defensively, they are trying to find themselves, even though they haven't been conceding a lot of goals. Their offense cannot pick up the slack at the moment, and this is actually going to be a good chance for them to get on the scoreboard, get a couple of points or so, because Columbus is missing 6 players who went to play for the national teams. while Charlotte is missing a few players because of the injuries and also who went to play for the national team. So in this game, guys, I'm gonna go with both teams to score at minus 143. Cincinnati is hosting New York City, who actually is coming off of a solid performance against Toronto last week in a game which they were able to win 2-1, and that was even after they got a red card and they had to defend for the last 15 or 20 minutes of a game with a player short on the pitch, but they were able to snag that win, and that was a huge confidence boost for them. As far as Cincinnati goes, they are coming off a win against New England. Before that, they got knocked out of that CONCACAF Champions Cup. They got a nil-nil draw against DC United, but I think this is a must-win game for them. I think it's gonna be a fairly close one, to be honest, and I would have to give advantage to Cincinnati because NYCFC is missing a player because of that suspension from a red card against Toronto, and they're missing five or six players who went to play for the national team. So, to keep it simple, guys, I'm taking Cincinnati on the money line at minus 118. Orlando and Austin is the next matchup that we have going on in the MLS, and here we have two very struggling teams, and Orlando is struggling a lot more even than Austin. Austin hasn't won any of the games so far this season. They have a loss and they have three draws in a row, while Orlando had a draw in round one and they have lost their next three games in a row. So defensively, both teams are struggling a lot. On top of that, with the international break, the depth for both teams will be quite reduced. And until they keep a clean sheet, we have to take advantage of both teams to score an over 2.5. That's exactly what I'm going to do in this one. I'm going to take both teams to score an over 2.5 at plus 105. I love the price, guys. I think it's going to be I would say a fairly tight and competitive game, but I just don't see either side keeping a clean sheet. Toronto is hosting Atlanta in the next MLS matchup that we have, and they will be looking to bounce back after that loss to NYC, and I think that's exactly what's going to happen. Yes, Toronto is missing a few players. They will be without Flores, Osorio, Gomis, Johnson, Richie Larea, and Servania as well. But more importantly, they have Bernardeschi up here. They have the Insigne and Matthew Longstaff is also available. And this should be a fairly good game for Toronto, I would say. Atlanta has been in great form, yes, but they are missing like four of their best players who went to play for the national teams, and that is a huge blow for a team who really relies on their top players, and that is Atlanta in the essence. So I'm gonna take a bit of a risk here, guys, and I'm gonna take Toronto on the money line at plus 130. I honestly am not sure we should expect a high scoring game here, but I think that Toronto will get the job done at home for another nice winner. Vancouver is hosting Salt Lake, and you know what? This I think is going to be another game that's going to go to the Canadian side. Vancouver is missing a few players, yes, but overall this season they have been performing really well. Six score goals in three games, still undefeated, only two conceded goals, which means that their defense has been solid. While Salt Lake on the other side has scored five, conceded five goals, and they are missing a few players who went to play for the national teams, as most of the teams are this week. So, to keep it simple, guys, I'm going to take Vancouver on the money line at home at minus 122. Kansas City and LA Galaxy is another matchup in the MLS, and this one I'm gonna keep very very simple, guys. These two teams are probably two of the teams that are missing the least amount of players due to injuries or the international duty. But at the moment, neither side can keep a clean sheet, and until that happens, this is gonna be another game where we have to take advantage of it. So I'm gonna go with both teams to score an over 2.5 goals at minus 133. St. Louis and DC United is going to be another interesting matchup in the MLS. And DC United was actually quite solid until last week, where when they ended up losing their game against. Let me just open it up. Who was it? They lost to Inter Miami 3-1 at home. But you know what? St. Louis, as good as they are in the attacking end, they're not nearly as good as defensively as they should be, and that is going to be a problem for them in this game. They can't keep a clean sheet. Neither can DC United right now. And with all that in mind, guys, I'm going to go with over 2.5 goals at minus 143. I would not blame you if you take both teams to score and over 2.5 for a nice plus money. As a matter of fact, I might put half a unit or something like that on it. But to take the volatility out of the pick, over 2.5 goals at minus 143, I think it's going to be a slam dunk and possibly even good enough to put it in the double with something else and actually get nice plus money out of this game as well. Colorado is hosting Houston in this next matchup in the MLS, and Houston has been struggling quite a lot in that attacking end. They have scored only 3 goals so far this season. This is the first game on the road that they are playing, and luckily for them, Colorado is not that good of a defensive team. Yes, they have been in a solid form, undefeated in their last 3 games. And I could potentially see them getting a positive result out of this game as they haven't lost to Houston in their last 4 home games. But I don't think that Colorado can keep a clean sheet. They have conceded at least a goal in each of their last 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 games in a row. So if Houston wants to do something, they have to do it in this game. This is a great opportunity for them to get to the scoreboard, to make something out of themselves, to improve their form. And because of that, guys, I'm going to go with both teams to score at minus 125. LAFC is hosting Nashville in the next matchup in the MLS, and this is actually a pretty great opportunity for LAFC to finally get back on the winning track because Nashville is missing 4 great players who would be in the starting lineup if they were here for Nashville, and I think that's going to be very much a key thing for LAFC in this game. LAFC is missing only a couple of players, but apart from that, pretty much all of their starters are ready to play. They are ready to get on the pitch and finally get back on the winning track. But as we can see, LAFC is actually pretty hefty favorites. I think that price went to minus 213 since I made this background. Which means that we have to dig for some value, guys. And LAFC to win it over 1.5 goals at minus 139. That's about as far as I'm willing to push this one. I think it is a bit of a risky pick, yes, but I think that LAFC is due for a nice performance, and I think it's going to happen at home in this game. Portland is hosting Philadelphia in the next matchup in the MLS. That's up on the West Coast, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And Portland actually suffered an unfortunate loss last week, which was actually surprising to me. I did expect them to actually get to the scoreboard at least, if not more, against Houston on the road, but they ended up losing that game 1-0. While Philadelphia on the other side hasn't won any of their last 5 games, and when I look at the lineups and missing players, so Philadelphia is missing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 players. That's pretty much an entire starting lineup that's Philadelphia missing, and I just don't see them winning this game, to be honest. I think that Portland, with their best lineup, they are healthy. They miss only a couple of players or so, which is not going to be an issue for their depth or the quality. I think this is a great chance for them to get a win and then get back on the winning track. So I'm going to take Portland on the money line, and I honestly think that Philadelphia will have to wait at least another week to get a nice win this season. So I'm taking Portland on the money line. And the last pick of this video, guys, is between San Jose and Seattle. Seattle actually got a draw last week, while San Jose is on a 4 game losing streak. They still haven't won a single game this season. As a matter of fact, they lost all 4. They have scored only 3 goals while conceding 9. But luckily for them, I guess Seattle is not scoring a lot this season. They have scored only 2 goals in 3 games, and they're still winless. But defensively, they're actually decent this season. But I think this is going to be the game where both teams will go for it. Uh, Seattle is missing a few players. They have a suspended players as well because of the red card. San Jose actually has 3 or 4 players who went to play for the national teams. And I think this is going to be a fairly open matchup because I think that both teams will go for it. So I'm going to go with both teams to score at minus 128. And let's hope that both teams show up in that matchup on the West Coast on Saturday night. That's it, everyone. Thank you for joining me here for your free picks for the MLS on Saturday. There's some lower leagues in England and all over Europe going on Saturday morning and afternoon, so I will probably have some premium picks from it. There won't be any free picks until next week, and once this international break is over, we are making a final push until the end of the season. We are finishing the Champions League, Europa League, Conference League, all the national leagues as well. And there won't be many days off, guys. There's going to be a lot of games to talk about, a lot of free picks, a lot of parlays. So stay tuned, guys. Make sure you subscribe, hit that like button, and I'll see you guys soon with more free picks.